Imagine this, a football club that can spend hundreds of millions of euros on the world's biggest stars. Neymar, Frankie de Jong, Kylian Mbappé, the kind of names that sell out stadiums before they even touch the pitch. Now imagine, that same club is also carrying a mountain of debt, so large it could swallow an entire season's budget in one gulp. And the fans? They're too busy celebrating the latest signing to notice. Too busy checking Instagram for the new kit reveal. Yet somehow, year after year, these clubs keep breaking transfer records. They keep lifting trophies. They keep dominating championships. How do they pull it off? Well, today, we're stepping off the pitch and into the world of football finance. A side of the game most fans never see. A world where winning isn't always about scoring goals. Sometimes it's about knowing how to make debt disappear without actually paying it back. Football isn't just played on grass. There's another match running in parallel. And it's played in the boardrooms, in lawyers' offices, and behind closed doors in expensive hotels. Instead of tactics boards and cones, there are spreadsheets and offshore bank accounts. Instead of strikers and goalkeepers, there are accountants, lawyers, and negotiators. And the aim? To keep the club looking rich and powerful enough to keep signing the best players, even if, on paper, they should be tightening their belts. The playbook for this game is long. Some of the moves are clever, others are questionable, and some are flat-out dangerous. Not necessarily illegal, but risky enough to make regulators nervous. Let's walk through the biggest plays in this hidden playbook. One of the most popular tricks is creating fictitious capital gains. This one is everywhere. Here's how it works. Two clubs agree to exchange players, but instead of realistic market values, they inflate the prices. On paper, each club records an instant profit, even though the real cash barely moves. Juventus and Barcelona gave us a masterclass in 2022. Miralem Pjanic was valued at 60 million euros, roughly double his real worth. Arthur Melo was priced at 72 million euros, again, far higher than any realistic valuation at the time. Why do this? Because in football accounting, the sale is booked immediately as income, but the purchase is amortized, spread over several years. That means the books look instantly healthier, even if the debt hasn't gone anywhere. Barcelona didn't stop there. They sold 25% of their La Liga TV rights to an American investment firm called Sixth Street for over 500 million euros in quick cash. That money funded Lewandowski, Rafinha, Jules Koundé, Frankie de Jong. The debt? Still massive, but buried deep enough that financial fair play inspectors couldn't blow the whistle right away. This technique isn't limited to superstars. Young players like Rodrigo, before joining Real Madrid, and Rafinha at Barcelona have been involved in deals with inflated values. Why? Because the accounting trick works just as well on a promising 19-year-old as it does on a Ballon d'Or contender. And that's just one move in the hidden playbook. Another favorite is overvalued sponsorships. Paying yourself in public. Some clubs boost revenue through sponsorships that look incredible on paper, but make a lot more sense when you look at who's paying. PSG's deal with the Qatar Tourism Authority is worth huge sums, and the funding ultimately comes from the same network that owns the club. Manchester City's deal with Etihad Airways, partly financed by the Abu Dhabi royal family, the same group behind City Football Group. These sponsorships aren't illegal, but they're like moving money from one pocket to another and then telling everyone your wallet just got fatter. Other clubs have been accused of similar tactics. AC Milan, Galatasaray, and even certain Eastern European clubs have had sponsorship deals with companies directly linked to their owners. The result? Inflated revenues, which keep the club's finances looking stable enough to keep spending big. And if you really want debt to disappear, the trick is simple. Send it somewhere nobody can follow. Portuguese clubs like Porto and Benfica are masters of this. They use companies registered in places like the Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, or Panama. Sometimes these companies actually own a percentage of a player's economic rights. When Eder Militão, Otavio, or a promising academy graduate gets sold, part of the fee goes straight offshore. The benefit? Almost no paper trail and almost no tax. The downside? Good luck figuring out the real financial health of the club. And while some clubs prefer to bury their money offshore, others take a different approach. They stretch it over time. Chelsea took this to another level. In January 2023, they signed Mykhailo Mudryk for €100 million and spread the cost over 8.5 years. That means only €12 million per year hits the books. With that trick, Chelsea could also bring in Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and Carney Chukwuemeka in the same window without breaching financial fair play. Real Madrid have done it too. Eden Hazard, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, all with costs spread across multiple years to keep the annual figures small. It's not cheating, it's just playing the rules like a violin. Stretching costs over years might keep the books looking calm, but some clubs go even further. They sell tomorrow to survive today. Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, all three have sold parts of their future, TV rights, merchandising revenue, to investment funds for immediate cash. Barcelona's deal with Sixth Street wasn't the first of its kind. Manchester United used future income to fund big signings like Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez. Atletico Madrid have sold chunks of future ticket and merchandise revenue to keep their squad competitive. It's like getting a payday loan, but instead of paying it back next month, you're paying with 5 or 10 years of future earnings. Mortgaging the future might buy time, but some clubs use an even murkier tactic, turning transfers into camouflage for debt repayments. In Italy and South America, transfers sometimes have very little to do with footballing value. Inter Milan, Roma, Lazio, Boca Juniors, River Plate all have been involved in deals where players are sold at inflated prices to friendly clubs. The reason? To settle debts quietly without officially calling it debt repayment. Players like Lautaro Martinez, Alexis McAllister, and Julian Alvarez have been linked to such arrangements. And while some clubs use inflated transfers to balance the books, others turn to a different kind of loophole, the image rights game, for global superstars like Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe, Pogba, Messi, and Lewandowski. Instead of being paid entirely as salary, part of their income is funneled through companies that manage their image rights. The effect? Reduced official wages and sometimes reduced taxes for both player and club. It's legal, but it can hide significant amounts of money moving around behind the scenes. And while image rights create a legal gray zone, some clubs push things much further, running 2 sets of books at the same time. This one's risky, and when it's exposed, it's a scandal. Some clubs keep one official set of accounts for regulators, and another internal set that shows the real financial situation. The second set might include under-the-table payments to agents, hidden bonuses for players, or debts that don't appear in the public version. Dinamo Zagreb, Galatasaray, Flamengo, and Palmeiras have all faced allegations or investigations over this. And if 2 sets of books are a scandal waiting to erupt, triangular transfers are a quieter, more strategic detour. A young South American star doesn't go straight to Real Madrid or Arsenal. First, he spends a season at a club in Portugal, Belgium, or another low-tax country. Why? Because it lets clubs and agents reduce the tax hit and sometimes hide parts of the payment. It's common with Brazilian, Argentinian, and African players, and it's been used for names like Vinicius Jr. and Gabriel Martinelli. And sometimes the hidden game isn't about where a player goes, but who really owns him. Officially, FIFA banned third-party ownership back in 2015. On paper, that should have shut the door on outside investors treating players like financial assets. But in reality, the practice never fully disappeared. Instead of direct contracts, investors now partner with clubs, quietly financing signings in exchange for a slice of the future transfer fee. It's a way of sharing the risk and reward, even if it bends the rules FIFA tried to enforce. Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano were once at the center of high-profile TPO cases, and the model still lingers today, especially around young Brazilians and Portuguese prospects. Beyond these 10 main plays, there's a whole extra layer: selling brand licenses to sister companies for inflated royalties, buying and reselling players quickly between friendly clubs to create accounting gains, issuing fake invoices for services like marketing or consulting, disguised loans from owners or wealthy subsidiaries, pressure on auditors to sign off on questionable figures. None of these guarantee success on the pitch, but together they allow clubs to keep up appearances, to look stable, attractive to sponsors, and competitive in the transfer market. They're not all illegal, they're not all unethical, but they do show that in football today, success is just as much about financial strategy as it is about tactics and talent. So, next time your club unveils a blockbuster signing, remember, there's more going on than just a handshake and a photo in front of the stadium. Behind the scenes, there might be a dozen financial moves, each carefully designed to keep the club looking strong while managing or hiding the debt that comes with competing at the very top. And in the modern game, understanding this side of football is just as important as knowing who scored the winning goal.